up for the update. But as far as NICTD and our members of NICTD, there needs to be much more accountability. So here's the first thing that I want to talk about that happened. Mike Repay completely backstabbed the Munster, they're not Munster, they're the Concerned Families of the Westlake Corridor Project. There are members in Hammond, there are members in Munster, and there are members in Michigan City and LaPorte. But Hammond and Munster is where Mike Repay, the people Mike Repay represents.
Yes.
Okay? So Julie went to him to discuss her concerns with the fact that they were going to take homes before they got a full funding grant agreement.
That's what, yeah.
And she went to the county commissioners meeting and she addressed him, at the meeting, and then he talked to her after the meeting, and she asked him, will you support us in getting a resolution to say that NICTD should not take homes until after a full funding grant agreement is executed?
Yes.
And so what he did is, apparently he forgot who he works for. He backstabbed them, and he went to NICTD and passed a resolution pushing forward the condemnation of houses, the eminent domain. So that very next meeting, they made sure that they had board approval to move forward with buying and demolishing homes.
Before anybody else got in a lawsuit in there and got sort of injunction in there or cease and desist or whatever the legal is for is.
Or a town council maybe could pass a resolution saying hold off on taking homes until you know for sure you're getting the grant. No, NICTD pushed forward, and we think because Mike Repay backstabbed the Concerned Families of the Westlake Corridor Project, they pushed this through.
May I throw in again? You mean there's a group, I literally used these words earlier in the show. You mean there's a group of zealous people that want to get something going to get it done even before they get money? Just like the tracking at the railroad track at the airport, which they hadn't even talked to the guys yet. We're going to get you over on here because we got to lower this thing. Town theater, everything is.
Yeah, how much can we spend on consultants and everything else?
Again, let's get the napkins out and the forks and the knives and the glasses. Don't worry about the meal. We got all this ready though.
Except that in this case, they're multi-million-dollar napkins.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's all taxpayer money.
I'm not. There's people whose home is their home, and that's it. They're going to be at least a percentage out of how many? What's the number? 200? Are we houses? Whatever.
174, I think, was the number they had, and then they said they may have reduced it down from there. 150.
Somebody ain't
Let's
going
say 150.
quietly. I'm going to tell you that right now. Someone's not going quietly. So I suggest you folks that like to throw your hand.
Well, Richard Daley's Cassandra Francis, who they put in charge of the real estate acquisitions, Daley's old employee who's in charge of the real estate acquisitions, she claims that people just love her when the process is all done because they're just so happy with how the process went. That, we still have houses that were torn down and the land sits vacant now over where the Piatone Airport was supposed to go.
Right.
That's one example. We can go through other examples throughout the country, but this is one right here, where they tore down a bunch of houses. They were going to put in an airport, and now that land sits vacant and $0 in taxes.
And why are we not surprised the resolution took place? Let's talk about a snapshot of value of these properties. Again, as a former banker and loan officer, property values are on the rise.
Absolutely.
So people that took a hit from 2008 may not have even made up their way yet when they bought into this house. We don't know if they're upside down, where they're at, what they borrowed. Maybe people, again, you're forcing people out at a time that it might be an investment to them. Your home is your biggest investment most of the time.
Absolutely.
You're going to kick me out before I even got back to even. I think my property's going to be worth $20,000 more in 5 years or whatever it is.
Well, NIPSCO, flew over the downstate Republicans and pointed down at these people's homes.
That's the blight.
That's the blight. Here's your blight. Thanks, NIPSCO, for doing that.
Some of those houses are pretty darn nice, but again, you got to have people to move into them. I get that part. You need the money to get invested, but.
So let's talk about the second part of the issue now. So this morning, and I want to challenge Mike Repay and Christine Sid to either come on these airwaves, to write to me, to write to the Times, to go on,
Christine Sid,
to go on
she
some,
is the voice of the people. She's
to go
always
on
out there talking to you.
some public
That was like 5 years
means
ago.
of expression. You can sit at home on your own Facebook Live. I don't care. But I want you to answer these questions for the people. And Mad Matt called in with 2 very good questions this morning on the Mayor's Show. And number one was...
Too bad he's unwilling to wait for an answer. Is that how he sort of goes? Okay.
Yeah, but I want the answer from Christine Sid or Mike Ribe, who, by the way, know much less about this project than Chuck Pullen or Julie O'Connor or Pam Eanes or a host of other people, because they don't care. They are sitting there to vote the way Mark Lopez and Pete Visklowski tell them to vote. And you know what? The people deserve better representation. If you don't want to do your job, get off that board. Because we need to replace you. If you are going to sit there and you're going to be on that board and you're going to rubber stamp everything, come election time, the people are going to know that they have to put somebody else in that position.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this situation with backstabbing the people is just unacceptable. It's exactly what he did with the income tax, and then he tried to have all these excuses. But look, Leopard hasn't changed his spots. He did exactly the same thing that he did to the people of all of Lake County with the income tax. Yep. He did exactly the same thing, backstabbed them in exactly the same way.
You're saying something, and I agree. I understand your vim and vigor. He got reelected, bro.
Well, he got reelected because he teamed up with Cantrell and he sandbagged us with a third Hispanic candidate.
That's not going to happen again. It's going to absolutely happen again.
It's not going to happen again because this time we know their games, and it's not going to happen again.
Well,
Trust
we'll
me.
have to see. All right, good spot. We got to take one more break.
One more break, and then I got the questions. We got to get them out.
We're going to come back with the Mad Mac getting teased. Mad Mac's excellent questions that he decided to answer on his own. And
I'm not sure about his answers. I tried to get,
we'll get to the questions.